everybody, welcome back to Cape Rugby TV, Wednesday nights live on Cape Town TV. Nice to have you along. Hope you've had a reasonably dry couple of days, which I think is rather doubtful. It's certainly been rather wet out there, and well, we wish the Cape Townian folks the very best. Please do take care. Let's get straight to it. It is, of course, the birthday of the greatest man who's ever lived, Mr. Nelson Madiba. Nelson Mandela, birthday today. But before we go on to the birthday wishes, Mr. H, welcome.
Good evening, JP.
That's a big pot in front of you, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Jerome, you like it?
Baie goed, JP, behalwe die papwiel wat ek nou gekry het op pad hiertoe, maar ek is nog altyd betyds, so jy kan 'n papwiel kry nog betyds wees.
Zolang as jy paptaai is nie. And Morgs, how are you, man?
The Japes.
Those guns are getting bigger, eh?
Yeah, I'm trying it, Japes. It's been 6 weeks. 6 weeks been sitting around, so yeah.
I don't want to know what's going to happen when you're here and you get back in the field. I can see a couple of centers taking a few steps back. Anyway, folks, it is the birthday of Nelson Mandela today. And 2 weeks ago, at least not 2 weeks ago, but last week, Wednesday, we were, of course, privileged enough to be at UWC, where the VUCA rugby guys were out in full force. And many of you would have watched the VUCA rugby on Friday night at 9 o'clock on this past Friday and seen those kids there. 360 kids all participating in the VUCA rugby tournament. And last week, before, in case you missed the VUCA rugby show on Friday nights, which repeats on Saturday, last week you would have seen the kids singing happy birthday to Nelson Mandela before their tournament. And of course, just before that, they also did the national anthem. It was absolutely fantastic. 360 kids playing rugby, VUCA rugby. These are kids that don't have fields at their schools. And we thought that as a tribute to the great man, Nelson Mandela, we would show you how these youngsters sang happy birthday to him. Wasn't that amazing, folks? Happy birthday to Nelson Mandela. Let me bring this across here, folks. Yeah, you see this jar. You see it right in front of me. Yes. I'm going to ask Mr. H about this jar right in a second or so. But wasn't that fantastic? Those kids saying happy birthday there to Tata Mandela and, of course, as we affectionately know him as Madiba. Mr. H, a few years ago, and it just goes to show how long we've been doing things, and which people don't even know about, actually. Many people don't know all the stuff that you've been doing behind the scenes. In that year, why was it that we did it in that year? But this was it was
Madiba's 87th birthday.
87th birthday.
So it was 7 years ago.
It was 7 years ago already?
Yeah.
Now, all I remember was us working through the night, night after night, preparing this. And, I mean, to cut a long story short, it was a torch relay from his cell, where the torch was lit by some of the former political prisoners. And then it was handed over from club to club to club to club to Boerland. Boerland clubs then ran it club to club to club to SVD, all the way up to
5 days it took to get
5 days of running with that. 5 days of running with that torch.
Yeah, and this was a gift from the Western Province Fraternity of Rugby, and I think it's a unique thing now, you know. I think it's actually priceless. It comes in a rosewood cabinet that you know where it's in, and there is not another one like this anywhere in the world.
This vase, yeah.
The vase.
You had this made?
Yeah, it's quite expensive. It's crystal, and the inscription on there. You know, it's like...
well, let me read the inscription. Nelson Mandela, 46664, of course, his prison number. The greatest living icon on earth. May God, who in his infinite mercy created you and gave you to this world to make it a better place, bless you abundantly for the rest of your life. Happy birthday from Western Province Rugby Union and the people of the Western Cape. And the people of the Western Cape were involved.
Yeah, they were all involved.
I mean, how many? It was an extraordinary event, folks. I mean, if you were actually there on the night, it was terrible weather. It was typical Cape Town weather, even worse than we've had in the last couple of days. And we had to get to the cell, Nelson Mandela's cell, by ferry, about 200 people by ferry, in the middle of the night. And it was, at one stage they wanted to stop the ferry because the weather was so bad. But we had to light the torch at exactly 12 o'clock at night. And I remember riding on the back of that ferry and looking at the city lights, and then the lights would disappear because the swells were so big that the ferry would go up and down. But Mr. H, I mean, if you take any other memories from that tour of where you did the torch run, what would it be?
Yeah, the one thing, you know, that was great for us was the participation of all the clubs. When we got to Athlone, for instance, at 2 o'clock in the morning, there was Rangers and all those guys, you know. And we ran out of oil for the torch.
That torch was another story.
Somebody went to go fetch oil at the house, and we went on, and then 8 o'clock in the morning, we walked into the Wellington Stadium.
The Wellington Stadium, we went,
to hand it over. We've gone right through all over. You know, it was fantastic.
I remember that. I remember it was still.
And we had a bus of supporters, you know, that just followed the running people. That there was real excitement on that bus.
I think it's absolutely amazing. Well, and I will.
Just to say, I don't think that would happen for anybody else.
No, definitely not.
Right at the end of this whole event, the torch disappeared, and the van that followed it also disappeared for a few months. The van they found back again. But in the excitement of it all,
no one found the torch.
The torch. And that torch, you know, because of the nature that it was used for, it's a magnificent momentum to have.
Yeah. Well, it was an absolutely amazing event. I've had the privilege of working with the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and in actual fact, put the statue of Nelson Mandela up at the Drakensberg prison. Folks, if you ever have a chance to want to go see the statue that we put up, go down to the old Victor Verster prison, which is where Nelson Mandela was released from, and go and see the amazing statue of that amazing man out there. It's well worth it. Tokyo Sexwale and the Sexwale Foundation, together with the Nelson Mandela Foundation, put that up at the Victor Verster, or at least the Drakensberg prison facilities. And I must say that because it was a French thing, one of the rather funny things of that night was that we came in with a guillotine, and the prisoners didn't enjoy that.
But yeah, Madiba, synonymous with sport all his life.
Yeah.
And I think the most iconic moment in history of rugby was when he walked out in the World Cup with that number 6 jersey on his back. And you know, it changed virtually the whole of South Africa.
Yeah.
To see that man, after all that he's gone through, wore that jersey, you know, for his own. It was politically correct. It was, and he made such an impact, you know, that for me it's still difficult to understand why small people around here still don't follow his dreams and his steps by supporting the All Blacks.
Yes, of course, it's got nothing to do with the selection of Siya Kolisi, but we'll just leave that up to Nordia and his big mouth. That's me. I would personally have preferred to see him. But anyway, Nelson Mandela, happy birthday to you from the Cape Rugby team, the panel, the crew behind the scene, Cape Town TV, and the entire Western Cape and Club Rugby in its magnificent wishes you a happy birthday and many, many more. Folks, it is now, of course, time for us to start taking a look at some of the results over the weekend. It was yet again another interesting scenario. Let's start off with Super League A. Super League A cracked off with some interesting games there. Actual fact, only one game. SK Warmers 47-24 over False Bay. Brackenfell in Super League B, it was a 34-21 Win for them over Primrose. Collegians going down to Goodwood, 26-14. And Belleville losing to Peniel Villages. It is getting very, very tight now. That's Super League A and Super League B. Well, Belleville beat Peniel Villages. Yeah, 30-12. Did I say it went down to them? Anyway, I must have been still thinking of Collegians going down to Goodwood.
On your back.
I don't want Quis on my back. No, definitely not. Have you seen Quis? Okay, nobody wants Quis on his back. Okay, but SK Women's 47-24. Big match coming up this weekend, folks. In fact, I spoke to Tolly Oosthuizen, the coach of Tygerberg, just before the show, and I also spoke to Mike Cross, the chairman of Falls Bay, just before the show. Now, SK Women's playing against Falls Bay this weekend. SK Women's coming with a good win, solid win there, Falls Bay 24. Now, Jerome, and you might even know more about this, is that Falls Bay and Tygerberg both seem to be losing the games now. Even though they're doing very well, the result just doesn't come out in their favour. They're playing good rugby, but not 80 minutes of rugby.
Yeah, Tygerberg surprised that win over Bellar, and I think they still have a small chance. The same with Falls Bay. Still, it's going to be a big one for them, for both of them now, because the team that lose on Saturday is basically gone.
Basically tickets in the relegation. It's a do or die. They both actually said.
So it's going to be a big one. So I think the team that loses is out.
Yeah. Now, Morgan, let me ask you. I mean, both coaches said to me one of the things that they're very worried about is the weather. Both teams want a dry game. Tygerberg wants to play a dry game. Falls Bay obviously want to play. Well, they seem to want to play a dry game. How much difference does the weather make? I mean, if you look at the conditions, you yourself took 14 days now to come back from a little holiday that you went on in the last... You got flooded out in Plek?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, but anyway, so back to the wet weather scenario in rugby. How much difference does it make when you're playing in Super League A and you've got conditions like this which are beyond normal?
Look, James, I must say that both teams will definitely have to look at their game plan. I mean, if it's a do-or-die situation and you're playing in the wet, then it does become a little bit tricky. So yeah, I mean, look, any win margin in the wet is well, will do. But then again, I mean, having said that, both teams will probably look to get a bonus point. I mean, any single point at this stage of the season is valuable. So yeah, I mean, as much as teams want to score 4 tries, they also want to stay within 7 if they lose. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle. And yeah, Falls Bay, I mean, the pitch is not in bad condition, and if it rains, it might get a little bit muddy. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle down there.
Villages, of course. Mr. H is the other team in Super League A that's in jeopardy at the moment.
Yeah.
They're in 9th place in Super League A on the log. Tygerberg and False Bay can still fight it out. But under these circumstances, Villages looks to be in serious trouble still.
Yeah, no, it is so.
It's just not coming right for them.
Yeah. I think, they had a little break now, so maybe they can sort of rebuild quickly and find some other inspiration. But it's going to be tough for them.
Now, SK Warmers, in their case, they got 35 points. They're reasonably safe. But they're going to go into a break now as well with the fast. They've played their 13 games. So they've played 1 or 2 games more than the rest of the teams. Stellenbosch has still got a lot of catching up to do. Stellenbosch is currently 6th on the log. But they've only played 9 games. Jerome, do you see Stellenbosch climbing back up to the top of the log?
Yeah, I think the team that really is not going to give up is Durbanville. So I think between them, it's going to be, till the end, it's going to be a big fight between them, which is also good. Where in the past, Stellenbosch, by now, they would have still, even if they had the break, they would have still lead by far. So now with Durbanville there and Hamilton's in sort of behind them also, so which is good. So I think it's going to be quite close between Durbanville and Hamadiehs at the end. And Durbanville already qualified to go to the club champs. So yeah.
Morgs, is there any chance? I mean, Durbanville are leading the log. Durbell, is it Durbanville or Durbanville?
Durbell.
So Durbell leading the log. They're on 51 points. They're obviously feeling very good about themselves. Is there any chance that you can get a little bit overconfident?
Look, James, I don't think that they will, because of the fact that they're going to club champs. They've got a lot to look forward to. And obviously they're still building, I mean, the season's only halfway done as it stands. So yeah, I mean, Stellenbosch are obviously going to push hot on their heels. But if Durbanville carry on winning and carry on getting results going their way, then I think Stellenbosch might find it a little bit hard to pip them at the post.
Well, Durban then 51 points. Hope that they don't get too confident. They are in the lead there, and they're certainly going to be challenging. In the States, they're going to club champs. When is the club champs?
Normally it works like this. The club that represents the union pays for the deputy CEO to go with.
The club that...
So Carl Steenkamp's guys, they must start saving up, you know.
My favorite words from Carl Steenkamp ever in the history of rugby was very simply at the end of a big game. We were at the function, and I know you were there because generally, well, no one else from the executive was there, but you were there, and of course Dougie Dyers was there. And Carl Steenkamp, my favorite words of all time, got up at the end of the meeting and he said, I just want to say, I love you, Dougie. I love you, Dougie. I love you, Dougie. Of all the people, I love you, Dougie. I'm sure everybody has it was Uncle Dougie. Everybody has Uncle Dougie. Uncle Danny. Let's look at the results now in Premier League A and Premier League B. In Premier League A, we saw Paul beating Rangers 22 points to 3. Laguna 27-16 over Silvertree, and Macassar beating Strand United 14-11 in Premier League B. And in Division 1, so Silverleaf beating Manenberg Rangers. Hamadiehs 6 points to 8 loss for them against Northerns. Right, so that was the game that we went to over the weekend. I think Hamadiehs had to find themselves a different field. Mistakes they had to play Fakerskraal. Because the other field wasn't bad, it wasn't damaged. They were busy with construction.
Yeah.
Now, folks, I must tell you, this was an absolutely amazing game. One of the most difficult games to film because not a lot of scoring, not a lot of tries in the game. Let's catch up with the highlights and watch right at the end of the game the actual final moment. Hamadiehs against Northerns. Excited?
Of course I am.
Nari tunnel toe, laat ons by die hek inkom. Nie langs die kant nie. Ons staan nou nodige penalties af, boys man. Kom ons kyk na ry goed tus. Ek wil dit sê.
Ja, boys. Yeah. So you go lose it and must you stay tightened. Guys, we focus. The line out, we contest very well, then we don't contest anymore.
Laat hy bal punte toe gaan aan. Laat hy bal punte toe gaan.
Keep your line out.
Kyk jy, dit is hard speel.
Keep on. Stay bound. Play it. Go up.
Push. Sweet. How to get up with it too.
Zet hem.
Yes.
Meneer, even duidelik vir my asseblief, wat beteken dit wanneer mense sê vir jou, laat die bal punte toe gaan?
Vra vir die coach.
Coach, so
Dit beteken, ek
let the ball get go to the points.
laat die bal na die vleuel toe gaan, van hy wil miskien 'n wyd patroon speel.
Hoekom sê mense dan laat die bal na die vleuel toe gaan nie?
Maar jy verstaan nie, JP, die
Ek verstaan nie, ek
colored language.
Die colored language.
Ja. Is
Nee,
net
maar
seker,
kyk
is
maar
net colored wat dit kan verstaan.
Ek kyk op my punt. Kyk hier. Ek vat vir jou 3 man op 'n kus, né? Ek en jy hier so ons kap nou en daai. Moenie my sê dit bal moet punte toe gaan nie. Sekerlik moet mense ander tipe conversations hê op die halftime. Sien jy, meng hom nou weer so 'n bietjie.
Maar soos ek sê, JP, ek dink wat hy bedoel is, hy wil die bal so vinnig as moontlik by die vleuel hê.
I'm having Nigel Pearce flashbacks here. You know when he was teaching me how to speak Kham. He was in, dan maar come carry on maar. Nou maar hou maar aan. Die bal moet punt. Okay, so the ball has got to go to the points.
Ja, hy wil hê.
Says ja.
Hy wil hê.
Now, if you say die bal moet vleuel toe gaan.
Ja,
But that's not what, because the vleuel might be standing right here.
Ja.
Hy wil die bal. Hy wil die bal na die punt toe.
Nou, okay. En rugby spelers verstaan die taal.
Hulle verstaan.
Laat die bal punte toe gaan.
Die bal punte toe gaan.
Some of them don't understand.
Party verstaan.
I can tell you now some of them don't understand it. Yeah, I agree with that.
Maar dit is soos jy sê, JP, dit is baie kry dat afrigters wat jy sê of wat dit maak sin. Want as jy 'n boodskap halftyd vir 'n span gee, dan moet jy dit duidelik doen en jy moet dit sê. Soos jy help jy vra vir 'n speler hoekom het jy die bal misgevang nie.
Ja.
Of hoekom het jy geskop nie.
Ja.
Jy moet vir hom sê, luister, jy wil jy moet daar skop nie, jy moet dit doen en ek wil hê die bal moet bietjie vinniger na die vleuel toe kom. Ons speel 1 of 2 fases en dan skuif ons die bal na die vleuel toe. Ek dink dis die tipe boodskappe wat die afrigters moet gee.
Well, I think we saw some very good coaching from the Hamadiehs coach, Belgian or French coach Marc Leroux, I think, and we caught up with the losing captain and coach. It was a close moment for them, but losing captain and coach of Hamadiehs. Let's hear what they had to say. Mark, you had it in the end, and the dying seconds went away from you.
Yes, very hard to take, but I think we lost the game in the first half. Clearly, we didn't take advantage of that hard wind. And, we stand a lot of time, 22 defending. We defend very well, but we should have normally scored like a few penalties. Would have been enough to win the game, and we didn't do it. So,
if you look at the strong points and the weak points of your side this week?
Well, the strong point in mentally in the second half with the win against us, we really raised up level and we went actually back and we were on the verge to win the game, So I think that mentally the team spirit was really great in the second half because everything when we started half, I saw the guy coming down and say, oh, well, we're going to do that, And the guy came and we stayed calm and we really take the ball up. We changed our game plan, play a lot tighter, and then we went up there, but we didn't score enough, and couldn't pull it away.
I heard you say a few nice positive words to the guys after the game. You've still got a few games left in the season. What will you be focusing on?
Well, first of all, as you know, Hamadiehs is a Muslim club, so we have the Ramadan, so we have to decide what we're going to do because it's going to have a big impact on the rest of the season. So we'll take it from there. I think we have six games to play. We got a 50%. We had 60 points on offer. We got 30. We had 12 victory on offer. We got 6, so we're 50% perfect. But we need a bit more than that to go up to get promoted, and to catch Northerns now is going to be hard. But we must keep on believing. I think with 12 victory and 52 points, you can get up there, and we still have a chance. So we'll try our best, clearly.
Well, Mark, best of luck, and of course we wish the guys the best for the season of Ramadan, and to yourself. We'll see you guys on the back end of the season.
Clearly, thank you very much.
Abdulrakib, it was close, but no cigar.
Yeah, guys got off to a bad start, I think. We struggled with our set piece in the first half. But proud of the way the guys came back in the second half. I think they can hold their heads up high. Rubber agreement against us a bit, but that's the way it goes, that's rugby.
A little bit tricky in the wind, yeah?
Yeah, conditions are tough for both kickers. But again, that's part of the game, so you have to live with it.
You guys going into the fast now, obviously take a bit of a breather and come back. You got 5 or 6 games left, you're still in the middle of the log, it's not a bad position.
Yeah, but it was a setback for us today. Looking forward to the break though. Back to the drawing board. I think we're still training next week, so looking forward to see the guys there. But lots of work ahead for us for the rest of the season.
Well, I think you can keep your heads up. It wasn't all that bad. It was in the last couple of seconds.
Yeah.
And looking forward then to seeing you guys back on the field.
Thanks a lot, JP.
Jerome, so coming back to what you were saying, positive language coming there from Mark. He was speaking positively at halftime. He was giving very clear instructions, and he was also he was planning it and making sure that the guys could remember the game plan. And then after the game, he was very encouraging as well. He didn't scream and shout because they lost the game. He kept very calm. in actual fact, it made all the players walk off the game feeling like good about themselves.
Yeah, no, that's great. But I mean, you can see that he know what he was talking about, and that's good. I mean, I heard his comments now, and he's always one of the guys when we have things at province coaching things. He's always around and always see him. He's a friends guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he knows his story, and that's great. I mean, that's where the game is going to now. You can't just rely on talent of the players and talk things that doesn't make sense, especially at halftime. And also your message is that you have to give during the game to the guys to understand what you want as a coach.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about that during the course of the show, because Mr. H, I want to talk to you about in the union on the spot about some of the older administrators, which maybe it's time for them to start looking at amalgamating clubs. That question seems to be coming up again, and there are some people out there with alternative ways of thinking, and they seem to be getting a bit of a block in front of them. They want to amalgamate clubs which are very close together and will join and then strengthen clubs. But I'm going to touch on that a little bit later during the course of the show. We also caught up with the winning captain and coach, Michael Adonis, the guy who still can't find a sheep for the life of me. Michael, it was a tough game. It was close. Laaste seconde, né?
Ja, het was tough. Ons het geweet het gaan tough is. So, maar ons het 'n doelwit wat ons wil bereik en ons het gesê ons gaan kom om vir hulle te kon wen en jou woede te breek.
En het is so gemaak, ja. Dis een van die myntuie waar die away span eintlik die oorwinning vat.
Ja, JP, ons werk baie hard vir wat ons nou wil hê. Ons het 'n baie jong team en die experience manne het vandag weer gewys, okay, hulle gaan die team ook dra en Hamadiehs is een van ons experience manne en hy het vir ons die game teëgedra vandag.
Ja, hy het great gespeeld, drop goal op die end. Dis wat die cool deur die kerk gesit het.
Korrek, ja. Ek kook eintlik Vrydags met hom. Maar vandag het hy gewys, ek het hom eintlik vars van die bank af gespeel vir 'n doel om my laaste paar minute vir ons daar te dra en hy het dit kon doen vir ons.
En die jong man, is hy 'n toekomstige Northern speler?
Ag, hy's eintlik 'n Cheetah supporter, so ek weet nie of hy gaan Northern seker verbygaan en eers vir die Cheetah speel.
En jy moes dit nou gesê het, so nou moet jy natuurlik vra wat het ooit by daai skaap gebeur.
Ja, ek sê vir jou as jy af en toe toe kom, as die skaap baan vir jou man.
Wat is jou naam?
Matteo.
Gaan jy rugby speel? Wie is jou favourite speler?
Northern's.
I'd say Northern's favourite speler. Well done, guys. Okay. Sean, tot die laaste sekondes, julle kon amper nie langer gehou het nie.
JP, het was 'n harde game geweest, maar ek is trots op ons het geglo vasgebyt. En gelukkig soos Hamadiehs wat ons uitgehelp het daar op die einde.
En ek weet meeste van die ouens wat natuurlik nou nie die game gewatch het nie, sal nou ons moet nou eintlik vir hulle sê dit was 6-5 tot die einde toe en toe sit hy drop goal op in die laaste sekond.
Ja, nee, kyk, het alles begin by die forwards voor by die skram, ons 'n goeie skram gee. Goeie paas van die skram af en die kompose was daar, ons het net geglo ons gaan dit doen. En ons gestiek by wat ons glo, ons geweet, ek het geglo aan Hamadiehs gaan iets op doen vir ons en ek is baie trots op my span.
Ja, wel gedaan en Hamadiehs is ook jou man of the match.
Nee, ek is trots op hom. Ons moet net voet op die grond hou en ons het nog baie harde werk om doen. Ek dink ons het die game vir onsself 'n bietjie moeilik gemaak veral in die tweede helfte. Eerste helfte was 'n bietjie te oorhaastig geweest, maar ons het baie harde werk, ons het 'n doelwit en ek glo ons gaan na bo uitkom.
Ja, wel alles van die beste van die res van die seisoen ek. Anyway, so we're back live, folks. We're just having a moment on this side, yeah. Anyway, so one of the great moments of that game, folks, and you know when you play at Vegas Carl, it's pretty obvious that when you've got the wind behind you, you take the points while you can get them, true?
Yeah, no, I just heard now he said that he kept Hamadiehs fresh for that last moment.
He came off the bench, yeah.
Came off the bench. But Hamadiehs, I think he's about 40 years old now. So it's good that he didn't play him the whole game.
Yeah, good that he didn't play him the whole game. But it was 5-6 or 6-5 in the favour of Hamadiehs all the way to the very end, or in the last 32, or should we say 1 minute, 60 seconds. All they needed to do was hold on to the ball, pick and drive, not lose the ball. They ran the ball, they lost the ball, and from the halfway line, and absolutely gutted Hamadiehs, Johan Hamadiehs slotted a drop goal from the half, if not even past and longer than the half. And the rugby poles at Hamadiehs is only about 4 meters high. So it's got, anyway, straight through the middle, and Northerns walks away with a win. And congratulations to Jean Houtsamer there, who put that ball over with supreme confidence and walks away with the Tata man of the match and wins the game for Northerns. Let's catch up with the man of the match, courtesy of Tata, who wins R1,000.
Johan, lekker game voor jullie. En het lijkt me, jij ziet de game voor die mannen gewinnen.
Ja, het was een lekker game, een beetje zwaar gegaan. En toen we het met dier gedraaid en zo. En dat ik onmogelijk kreeg om mijn kaas te gaan op te gaan komen, zodat ik die wedstrijd kan winnen. Ik is eigenlijk een gelukkige man vandaag. Van, het gaat niet over wat nou hier gaan, wat we moeten op die klapboek gaan, naar die afterparty, wat nou lekker gaat wissen en zo. Glaasje klink.
Luister, ik meen, het was 5-6 daar in die laatste secondes van die game. Dat was een kwestie van, jij was op je halflijn. Wat het jou toe laat besluit, oké, ik ga nou go for the drop goal?
Ik trust me niks ja, want met dropskoppen, even met mijn steelskoppen, ik trust me zelf zo. Dat was eigenlijk een kans geweest van mij, van de wedstrijd was zo oor. Zo, ik heb staat gemaakt met skram af en mijn pak voor zitten, mijn set recht te boter te steken om die ballen te drukken. En dat is die punten voor ons.
Wel gedaan, jullie game voor Northerns gewinnen. En dat heeft natuurlijk ook voor jou nou R1,000 gescoord. Van Tata af, Tata man of the match. En ik ga nou die chairman van Hamadiehs, Farid Bardin, vragen om voor ons die Tata check van R1,000 te brengen voor jou te geven. En wel gedaan, there we go. Dat is nou R1,000 voor een club rugby speler wat mensen niet bij zien nie. Dat is een toffe game. Farid, wat zeg je voor die Northerns vandaag? Hulle het vir jou net op die einde daar zo game.
Ik was statisch geweest, erg. Ik was zo gelukkig op die dag. Maar toen kwam Houtsamer en hij spoilde alles voor mij. En van Hamadiehs. Maar we hebben gedaan, Houtsamer, we hebben gedaan. Northerns is altijd lekker samen in te spelen. En ons kijkt voor en toe om weer samen met jullie te spelen, erg.
En dis die type gees wat mensen zoeken tussen spannen en...
Ja, speciaal in die liga. Hulle noemt dit Hamadiehs liga, want ons is al zo lang hier al. En het lijkt me Northerns en ook ons spoilen het voor ons vandaag. Maar ons hebben nog 6 games voor. En ons gaan nou niet vast. Mondelijk gaan die mannen lekker rustig krijgen. En dan kan ons weer daarvan voren werken.
Ja, jouw record gespoild en die Cape Rugby TV record is ook gespoild. Dat is de eerste keer wat een thuisspan verloor. So ik zit zo ontsteld zoals jij, ja. Maar luister, weer eens wel gedaan, ons Tata man of the match. Johan, ja, wel gedaan. En ik zie ik zeker dat skopskoenen gaan willen nog bij punten aantekenen.
Alipad, bij je punten.
Farid, en baie dankie voor jouw hospitality. En
voor jouw spanning, dat jullie altijd zo goede werk doen voor die rugby. Nee, speciaal voor club rugby. Bye.
And there you go, folks. Your Tata man of the match, Johan and Farid. Once again, R1,000 for a club rugby player. And isn't that incredible? In the history of club rugby, we don't see money for club players. And here you have R1,000 going to a player that's done very well for his club. We'll see you guys in a mo. Well, there you go, folks. Jerome, would you agree form is temporary, but class is permanent?
No, definitely, JP. I mean, Houtsamer, I just remember now when Karel du Plessis and myself coached the Currie Cup team. He played 2 games Currie Cup for us. And he played a couple of games for the Falcons when Peter de Villiers was coaching them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, lots of experience there.
But that just goes to show, once you've got that sort of class, it stays with you, even at the age of 65, and you're still playing for 3 minutes. Okay, he's not quite 65, 62. Let's take a look at the results in Division 3, but congratulations then to Northerns, who walks away with the win in the 10 seconds. And Jean, you win for yourself that R1,000 courtesy of Tata. Well done. R1,000 once again in the pocket of a club rugby player who could, we know, club rugby players can desperately use that money. Let's look at the results in Division 3. Division 3, Caledonian Roses, good solid win for them over Young Ideas. Perseverance drawing with Peninsula, Strand Pioneers and Retreat. 15 all, 2 draws in that league. In the Paarl region, we take a look there. Simondium and Albions, probably the scores didn't come in. Violets beating Young Standards 24-16. Riverstones beating Young Gardens. Vineyards, big win for them over Vintnell United, 62 points to 5. Lower Paarl 42-16 over Allendale. And Paarl Rangers, again, an enormous win. Peril United going down 68 points to 0. Is there any point, Mr. H, Peril United? Why? What are they doing? They haven't scored a single point in a week, in months. I mean, last week it was naught. The week before that it was naught. 68 naught. Do they keep playing?
Like my granddaughter would say, score nothing.
Score,
Yeah, nothing. You know. But
love.
We will have to look at the situation there and find, you know, if we can't strengthen them or they can't lift themselves, then we must have to look at.
So then that comes to my question. Maybe I should ask you this question now. I mean, in the LCS Rafir area, there are some people who want to join clubs. They want to amalgamate. They want to make things stronger and bring maybe a stronger home ground. I know there are some people in that neighborhood pushing for the communities to come together to form a stronger team. Is that a good idea?
It's a good idea if they put the proper structures in place and if they make sure that everybody is catered for. There's no sense in bringing 80 people together or 90 or whatever, and then you have 2 teams or 3 teams. You must then have under 21, you must have reserve league teams and all that, so that you cater for all. And
of course, you don't want to deprive any of the communities who had a club before of having a sporting field or a facility.
But then also we must also, you know, in the Cape Flats, there's lots of things that play a role. Perseverance at the moment cannot practice because of the gang violence in an overpark. You know, number of people were shot there over the last few weeks. Those guys can't go out at night to go to the practice field, walk over somebody else's territory. And that's something that you must always take into consideration. So it's difficult in some places, but where there is a will to do it, we must support them. And I know that in Elsies River and areas like that, it's been a long time coming that they talk to one another.
You're one of the few people that has got first-hand, ground-level, practical experience from a senior point of view that understands the realities of club rugby at ground level. Should the clubs not be coming together, 3 or 4 of those clubs, and sitting with someone like yourself and putting those things, those facts on the table, instead of, you know, so that they can also get the viewpoint from an administrative point of view?
Yeah, I know. And there are other people there, you know, that have gone through this. I mean, SK Warmers, it's a merger.
Yeah.
Kales River, the president's team now, they merged, and he was very active in making that merger work. Same with Munip Levy, executive member, he was very active in making the SK Warmers merger work. So there are other people also there that can...
But now, who used to be parts of those teams, and are they still playing a role, or have they been forgotten?
No, they're very much still in there.
And that's something that you, as a senior person at Western Province, would always encourage.
Don't push the people away. You know.
No.
Embrace them and see that they create something for them. You know, if the guy was the manager of the 3rd team of the one club, give him another option.
Bring him in.
Yeah, bring him in. Make him the assistant manager if there's no other position.
Because at the end of the day, the reason for the clubs to exist still is not to play rugby, but to serve the community.
That's it.
By playing rugby.
And it's not about the person, you know, whether you have a position actually.
Yeah, it's not a, yeah, that's a,
Isn't it most of the time, Mr. H, that the reason why the clubs don't want to join together is because the one club chairman is not sure that he's going to be the chairman, and the other guy, so it's normally if there's like 3 or 2 clubs joining together, I think it's not the players, it's as Mr. H said, it's the administrators. The players are keen, I mean they will join whoever, whatever, but I think the problem is with the administrators who, because I'm not going to be the president, I'm not going to be the chairman.
So how big must your ego be? I mean, don't you understand? If that's your problem, then you're not thinking of the people.
Yeah.
Mr. H, your comments on that?
No, I'm saying that. Then rotate the chairpersons, or make them jointly responsible for running the thing. You know.
Yeah.
Or say you will do the first half of the season, and you will do the second half of the season.
I mean, Hands on Hearts has got 2 coaches. If they can do it, then we can have 2 presidents. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're looking now at a scenario of if you want to have 2 coaches, you can. If you want to have 2 or 3 presidents, you can. If you want to have 4 wives, you can. Next thing to do is, of course, to look after our sponsors. Evox is the official sports nutrition supplier to the DHL Stormers and Western Province Rugby. You want to get through the season, You want to make sure you don't lose any weight. And I think, especially with the fast coming up now, if you are fasting, you want to make sure that you consume enough protein during the evening hours when you are allowed to eat. And for the rest of you that are busy staying in those logs, it's a long season ahead. You want to make sure that you stay ahead of the game. Once again, we're giving away a chance for you to win for yourself an Evox hamper. And again, it's a double set of water bottles. Morgan, has anyone been to fetch the water bottles that are and giving it to their teams?
Yes, I actually tweeted, I can't remember the gentleman's name actually right now. But yeah, somebody came to collect their prize last week. And yeah, I mean, I tweeted a picture. So those of you who follow Cape Rugby TV, I tweeted a picture handing over the water bottles, which he promised that he'd give to, I think it was some from Tygerberg actually. So I think one of Tygerberg's team should expect to be walking out of the water bottles.
We'll see on Saturday.
Yeah, there
we'll see on Saturday when we film Tygerberg against False Bay.
Exactly.
If there's no Evox water bottles, then we know that whoever won that prize didn't give it to them. Huh?
Yeah, that's actually very true. So yeah, I tweeted a picture of it, and yeah, I mean, I know the youngsters using the supplements, and then he said he would politely give the water bottles to his team. So.
And talking about the supplements, then these are the supplements that are up for grabs. You can win for yourself this Evox Rapid Recovery. That helps you recover after the games. And the Mega Grow.
Would this be okay for the guy with the 4 wives also?
Yes, he'll just go through it 4 times quicker. And of course, some creatine up for grabs. Remember, the Evox products are available at Discount, Pick and Pay, MChem, Durbell, and other leading pharmacies out there, as well as Clicks. And if you're a club rugby player, you can, of course, contact the Evox guys directly. If you want to win yourself this hamper, all you need to do is tell us who is the official sports nutrition to the best rugby team in South Africa, the most scientifically advanced rugby team in South Africa. It's the DHL Stormers. Tell us who is the official sports nutrition. The answer is Evox. All right, there you have the answer. A little bit of a clue for you. Okay, if you don't work out the answer from that. 33280, right? Get that number into your phone, 33280, and you can win this Evox hamper for yourself and give the water bottles to your club. We know the clubs always need water bottles. This week's winner is Clive Rickmiller. Congratulations, Clive. You win that prize from last week. All you need to do is SMS your name and answer to 33280. You win for yourself this hamper. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the fixtures that are coming up and some quick look, of course, at the log positions. We'll just take a look at the first, the leaders and bottom of the logs, and just to quickly see where we stand before we, of course, move into what's happening in the world of the I Love Western Province Club Rugby campaign. Back in a moment. We're doing a little bit of a behind-the-scenes video for you folks. We're going to upload that onto YouTube for you shortly, and you can see what happens behind the scenes. In actual fact, we might one of these days do a little bit of a walk around while we're busy with the show. We know that many of you have asked us to tell you, how do we put the show together and all the fascinating things around that. Of course, there's the I Love Western Province Club Rugby campaign being run at the moment amongst the clubs. And this week, Vodacom was out at Hamadiehs versus Northerns to go and get some of the fans to send in some messages of support for their clubs. Let's see what's happening in the campaign and which clubs are doing well and who are up and who's down. I Love Western Province Club Rugby campaign. Check it out. It's now time to look at the I Love Western Province Club Rugby campaign, brought to you by Vodacom. Retreat is in first place on 597 points. Elsie's hot on the heels on 593. Scottsdean's in third on 467. Rocklands on 346. And in fifth place, it's Northerns on 145. Retreat and Elsie's certainly leading the way. They are the first teams to break the 500-point mark. Strong competition from the top 4 clubs. The question is, who will be the first to reach 1,000 points? You want to find out how your team is doing? Visit www.ilovewpclubrugby.co.za to see how many points your club has earned. Now let's take a look and see how you can earn those points. If you want to upload pictures or video clips of your club to ilovewpclubrugby.co.za, that'll earn you 2 points. SMS the name of your club to 32715, register as a supporter and get 5 points. MMS pictures or video clips of your club to 082 008 0196. This will get you 5 points. If you register for M-Pesa, 20 points in the bag, or switch to Red, port your number to Vodacom, that's 50 points
big time for your club. Now let's take a look at some of the rewards. On 500 points and you'll get 50 water bottles. 1,000 points gets you 25 tog bags. 2,000 points gets you 25 club-specific branded rain jackets. While 4,000 points, the grand prize, gets you 22 sublimated rugby jerseys. Here are some of the pictures we've received from the clubs. Player from Union Milnerton making a huge tackle on one of the Lagunia Rugby Club players. And thanks to Robert Smith for submitting this great picture. A Vodacom representative will be in contact with you shortly. This past weekend, the Vodacom I Love WP Club Rugby Activation Team visited the game between Hamadiehs and Northerns. The Vodacom Activation Team could be visiting your club game next. That's your I Love Western Province Club Rugby campaign, brought to you by Vodacom.
Well, it seems like that campaign is slowly starting to get momentum. Remember, you're going to have to jump in there quickly if you want to get points for your club. Talking about getting points for your club, Mr. H, one of the saddest moments, certainly in the history of club rugby, and a gentleman that did so much for club rugby, passed away last week. Extremely sad for the entire club rugby community and, of course, for Primrose as well, Nazim Karil.
Yeah, that was a great shock. And I think you can also see it in the performance of Primrose, they were waiting for him at the field to play the Friday night when they got the message that he had passed on.
Really?
And he was, he was the life and the soul of Primrose. Ever since I've been involved with rugby from City Park days, Nazim Karil was always there on behalf of Primrose. So a great loss. His newsletters were magnificent. I hope that Primrose will find somebody that can carry the traditions. Nazim Karil kept all the statistics from all the players. How many tries they scored. He was an icon for that club. So our sympathies.
And not a man to look for the limelight.
No, he was always in the background.
He was no man to look for the limelight. He just did the work behind the scenes. And folks, our deepest sympathies and condolences to the family and the friends of Nazim Karil, and of course to the players at the club. We know that you're all hurting at the moment. Great loss there. And from the Cape Rugby team and the folks at Cape Town TV, as I say, our deepest sympathies and condolences for a great rugby man, a man that was not looking for the limelight, and that was a doer, not a talker. And we'll be thinking of you. And to the guys at Primrose, keep your chin up and make the best of it. Right. Unfortunately, not always a pleasant thing to say, but we have to get on with it. Just talking about other things that are happening at the Union, Mr. H, you mentioned something about the women.
Yeah, the Western Province women's team is starting to play their competition. They'll play the Blue Bulls on Saturday at 3 o'clock at Milnerton.
They're wearing pink?
No. They're very much in blue and white. And they had a very good preparation.
I mean, the Blue Bulls girls, are they
wearing maybe they will wear pink. The Western Province had a very good preparation, and they played Boland last week.
Yeah.
And they beat Boland 74-0.
74-0. Of course, that result came in actual fact, I think, while we were on air.
Yeah. So that's the meeting last night. They're very keen about what they are doing.
Yeah.
So women's rugby is on up. Our women's the under-16 girls team, where they played in the national tournament, they won all their games. So. It was great for us. Great
stuff. So things happening at the Union. And just in terms of other matters rugby related, the VUCA rugby semi-finals happening at UCT this coming Saturday at 9 o'clock. So if you want to check out the kids out there playing in the semi-finals, go and check out VUCA rugby at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. Remember, you can find VUCA rugby at www.vucarugby.co.za or on Twitter at VUCA rugby. Got a tweet in from Zahir.
Zahid.
Zahid sent in a tweet, and what did he say?
He said he'll exchange a whatever we wanted for the dozen water bottles. So we exchanging the dozen kusistas for a dozen water bottles.
Did he actually say kusistas?
Well, he gave us a choice, James.
Kusistas or what?
No, he just said we can make the call.
I can make the call.
Yeah.
That's a big call, eh? Okay, I'll take your car. In actual fact, I'll take the kusistas from Rangers before the car. Dozen water bottles for, would that, obviously I can't give away this prize, but you're talking about if we had to get 12 more water bottles from Evox,
yeah,
he will give me 12 kusistas.
That
deal is on, all right?
Next Wednesday, yeah.
Next Wednesday for Cape Rugby, we want warm kusistas, okay, in this weather. Mesa is, of course, one of our official suppliers and supporters here at Cape Rugby TV. All right, let's take a look and see who won last week's netbook. Congratulations to Shadley Mayer. Shadley wins a netbook with an Intel Atom processor. Wow, more great prizes from Mesa, the official IT supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. This week, up for grabs is that Mesa KPC U310 keyboard PC. All you need to do is tell us who is the official IT supplier to the DHL Stormers. Just SMS the answer and your name to 33280. You can win for yourself right now. Enter that question, that competition. SMS to 33280. The word Mesa, and you could win for yourself that keyboard PC. An absolutely fantastic opportunity. Let's take a look at the fan picks that came in during the course of the week. Some great pictures once again coming in. There's a great picture here from Yusuf Majid. Of course, there you see the drop goal between Northerns and Hamadiehs. Johan Hertzhammer putting it over. Ansel Naprul put in a picture here of the flat-footed defense, Belleville's defensive line. And Yusuf Majid, again, a nice picture there from Hamadiehs versus Northerns. Of course, Yusuf posting pictures for the People's Post. Check out that newspaper. Ansel Naprul, another nice picture here, courtesy, or at least featuring William Cupido there. And Anslin, another picture. Anslin really getting in. And there's Lawyer from Belleville. Of course, captain the side there. Lawyer captaining the Belleville side. Leisure Hotels is our official accommodation supplier. If you want to win for yourself a set of nights accommodation, bed and breakfast at the Strand Towers, just SMS the word leisure and your name to 33280. Last week's winner was Romeo Liners. Congratulations, Romeo. You win for yourself a one night's accommodation, bed and breakfast at the Strand Towers. Right, let's take a look now at the Super League A fixtures coming up this weekend. Villagers are up against Durbell. It's Falsband, Tygerberg. Super League B sees Goodwood and Brackenfell, Helderberg and Peniel. Villagers, NNK take on Hands and Hearts, and Kales River are up against Belleville. Remember, we are watching False Bay against Tygerberg. In Premier League A, it's Elsie's and Kraaifontein, Scottsdene, Hamlet, St. George's and Langa. Young People's take on Paarl. Premier League B, it's Solarians and Franschhoek, Stelco and Milnerton. Division 1, it's Wraithby against Strand, Young Westies and Rocklands. Blue Jets take on Blue Stars. Division 3, it's Whistling Wheels against Masipumolele at Eerste It's Young Ideas in Krutisville in Langa. And in Division 4, Bishop Flavors take on City's Progress at Bishop Flavors, and Imikawe against Khayelitsha. There's a derby match for you if there ever was one. In the Paarl region, it's Young Gardens and Lower Paarl. Windmill United take on Allendale. Young Standards against Peril United. There's going to be a big North score there. Simondium against Violence and Paarl. And Paarl Rangers take on Riverstones. Right, colour tone competition, our white line supplier. If you want to win for yourself a white line fever hamper, all you need to do is SMS the word colour tone to 33280. These are the white line markers for your club, and you need it now with all this rain. Last week's winner, Eerste. Congratulations, Mr. Claessens will be extremely happy. The president of Eerste will be extremely happy with that one. Mr. Claessens, president at Eerste. Whistling Wheels, sorry, yeah. So I'm thinking of Eerste. In Super 15, this week's playoff is the Crusaders up against the Bulls, and the Reds are taking on the Sharks in Brisbane. Right, time for our Super Brew predictions then. Let's keep this nice and short and sweet. Let's quickly look at the rankings in the top of Super Brew. Wilkie is still on the top there. Mr. H, you've jumped up 2 points into 5th place.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Congratulations. I don't know how you did it. I climbed a little bit up in another rankings there. Let's do the predictions then. Super Brew predictions, Morgs.
It's pretty simple for me this week. I'm going Crusaders and Sharks, both by 10.
Jerome.
Yeah, I'm also going Crusaders and Sharks. Crusaders 10, Sharks by 8.
All right, Mr. H.
Crusaders 13, Sharks 4.
All right, and my pick will be for the Reds to beat the Sharks by 7, and for the Crusaders to beat the Bulls by 7. Fantastic.
7 being your number.
That would be my number, and that is a number that's working for me nicely at the moment.
But you know, JP, you know if the Reds beat the Sharks,
Yes.
then we play the Crusaders.
Right.
And that's almost like a home game for the Crusaders at Newlands.
Yes, that is true. That is almost like a
So
home
we
game.
don't want that.
But I don't. You see, all season long, I have to hear teams talk about we take it one game at a time. All right? I'm not thinking of the following week. Yeah. Okay, I'm doing what the professional coaches do. I have to take it one game at a time, which means I only have to look at this weekend. I don't have to look at next weekend. Okay.
But you also know, if we play the Sharks and we beat them, we've got the final at Newlands.
Yes. I
So
know
we
that.
take it 2 games at a time.
We'll take it 2 games at a time, yes. Okay. That's why you are the coach. Okay. Morgs, you confident with your prediction, eh?
Yeah, James, I must say, I think the Crusaders scary side to play in any playoff. So I will look. I'd like to see 3 South African sides in the semi-final, but yeah, I got to give it to the Crusaders and the Sharks.
I'm going to ask you for one more prediction. Fast Bay Tigerberg. Winner, loser. Fast Bay at home.
I'm going to go with Cape Rugby on the home side. I'm going to go False Bay by 10.
Didn't work for us against Hamadiehs and Northerns. Jerome.
Tigerberg by 8.
Mr. H.
Tigerberg.
Tigerberg.
4.
Tigerberg by 4. That's a wrap for us for the show, folks. That's a wrap. We're on Facebook if you want to make fun of us. www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. We'll see you again, False Bay, on Saturday at 4. Have a great rugby weekend. Stay dry. Thanks, and see you next week. Bye-bye.